unicorns of the world, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So guys, today's reading is all about what is coming up next in your life. And in order to help you figure out exactly what jaw-dropping, exciting, and unexpected news is coming for you, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from. So I would like you to pick one of these 4 crystals intuitively. The 4 crystals that we have today are as follows. We have the Orchid Calcite, we have the Vanadinite, we have the Black Tourmaline, as well as the Howlite. But as usual, the timestamps can be found in the description box as well as pinned to the comment section for quick and easy access. So guys, I want to keep this intro very short. I would rather spend more time within your readings, channeling more messages for you. So I'm going to get into it with the first group, which corresponds to the Orchid Calcite, and to all my other beautiful groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Orchid Calcite group number 1, and I want to get straight into your reading to figure out exactly what is coming up next for you. So I have prepared just 1 card, and the rest I will be channeling and laying out for you intuitively. So first and foremost, we have Shine Your Light. We have the Archangel Uriel. So one thing that I see here is that what is coming up next for you is truly like shining your light in this world and just embracing who you are. So if you felt a little weird recently, or if you've just felt out of place your whole life, let's be real, group number 1, this is the time for you to shine. This is the time for you to be who you know that you are. Okay, we have a card that just popped out of the pile for you, the Queen of Swords. So I see that you're kind of like ready to like cut a bee, if you know what I mean. Anybody who comes in between you and your grind, the things that you know that you're deserving of, and the things that you're going after. You're not here for anybody telling you what's good enough for you and what isn't. You're ready to just basically take what you know that you deserve or have worked so hard for, and you're not going to stand for bullies being a part of your life anymore. That just does not fit into your vibe, does not fit into your space, and you're over it. You're moving on from that, and you're just kind of like dissecting situations where you think to yourself, wait a minute, hold up. Why is this person allowed to make me feel bad again? Oh yeah, right, they're not allowed to do so. So I'm just gonna tell them straight up, and if they don't see the need to change, then they can't be around me because they're just dimming my light. That is one thing that I see here in Shine Your Light. Then in the 5 of Cups, I see here that what's next for you is also kind of a feeling of, you know, emotionally not being quite sure what is missing, reaching for something that is like just out of reach to you. So you may feel a little bit lost when it comes to love, your relationships, just certain connections in your life, and you're trying to find where you went wrong. You're trying to find kind of like the reason why certain relationships in your life are the way that they are, but it seems like you're really close, but it's just out of reach. That answer as to why things have been the way they've been is just like a little too far away for you to comprehend. But don't worry, group number 1, sometimes things just need time, and sometimes you also just need to move from this more logical standpoint in the Queen of Swords to a standpoint of where you're trying to understand the other person a lot more than you ever have in the past, if you know what I mean. So let's lay a few more cards out for you, shall we? Okay, so group number 1, we have the Page of Swords, the 10 of Swords, as well as Death. So we have a lot of sword energy. Sword energy is masculine energy, also called phallic energy. It is the energy that is connected to air signs. So if you are of an air sign, I want you to know that this is a reading that really channels all of your strengths as well as your weaknesses. So in Death, in correlation to all of these swords, I want you to know that there is really like an emotional and mental era that is coming to an end. So death obviously does not have to mean literal death. Death is something that basically just means you're letting go of the old, you know, blowing out the old flame and kind of like igniting a new chapter. And that can sometimes be scary. It can sometimes be difficult, especially if certain relationships are coming to an end in your life. When relationships end, it can feel like literal death. It can feel sometimes even worse because you know the person is still there, but it just didn't work out. But I see here in the Page of Swords that you have a new mission, a new meaning that you need to follow through with, okay? So like mentally, you can feel that you're being pushed towards this, because in the Ten of Swords, I see here that you're just kind of like done mentally with the people you've been dealing with, the situations that you've been going through, the patterns that you have had to go through over and over again, and it just seems to not get better. So you're ending that situation. That is why we have the Death card. You're done with those toxic friendships, done with those toxic patterns of, for instance, constantly overeating, maybe even self-harm, maybe even just not taking care of yourself the way that you should, taking more risks than you should, and being more argumentative than necessary. And you just want to move on with your life in a direction that makes more sense to you at this given moment. And then we have higher power, as well as to the sea. So one thing that I see here in higher power is the fact that there is stability coming into your life, and it has to do with just this feeling of understanding this higher power around you, this feeling of understanding yourself spiritually, mentally, and just overall knowing who you are and knowing what the guidance is that you've really always wanted and that you can appreciate. And that guidance is more of an intuitive guidance to you. Into the sea, one thing that I see here is that you're kind of sailing out on your own, okay? Your friends and family may be doubtful of where you're going in life right now, but you don't really care. You're gonna keep going your way regardless, and you're going to go to the sea and try and kind of like cross the ocean of where you are right now to get to a completely new era, a completely new place. And you're doing it whether somebody joins you on this trip, on this boat, on the sea, or not. So let's add a few more cards. We have chaos and conflict, as well as imagine. So one thing that I see here is that what is really stressing you out, or what is about to stress you out, is just imagining chaos and conflict establishing itself more in your life. You're not ready for it. You kind of just want things to fall into place in a way how you can handle it, how you can deal with it. You, like, your worst nightmare right now is even more chaos. You're dealing with enough, and you just kind of want to chill out and not have anything to do with more chaotic situations. So group number one, I highly suggest to you that you do not focus on chaos and conflict. You do not focus on anything that makes you feel uneasy, but instead use your imagination to channel energy from the things that motivate you. So be it starting your own business, having your own family, you know, helping out animals, the environment, whatever it is that motivates you, use that to channel energy that allows you to think positive thoughts like, oh, what if this goes well? What if I'm able to, you know, retire by the age of 35 and then spend the rest of my life just helping people in need? Obviously just an example, group number one, but I just want to point out to you how you can imagine things being amazing. Imagine things being just awesome instead of thinking of the worst case scenario. You're trying to push it away, but thinking of the worst case scenario will only bring it closer to you. And then we have a trustworthy friends, as well as spiritual support. So I see here for you, group number one, what's next for you is just really leaning into those friendships that you already have in your life, leaning into those connections with the people who have already established themselves as a trustworthy friend and as somebody that you can talk to about spirituality, somebody where you can share your spiritual awareness, your spiritual awakenings with, and you can kind of grow together. So I see a lot of growth in your intimate connections and the connections to the people who you feel safe with, the people who have proven themselves to be trustworthy, to be people that you can count on, and just making those relationships even more special and better than you ever imagined that they could be, group number one. So this is a reading that I received on what is coming next for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this quick read. If you did, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button on this video and subscribe to my channel. So thank you for joining me with this, group number one, wherever you are in this world. I hope that you're doing amazing, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello group number 2 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Vanadinite group number 2 and I want to move straight into your reading to figure out exactly what is happening next for you. So I have prepared just one card. The rest of the cards I will be shuffling and laying intuitively right before your eyes. So first and foremost, we have the spirit animal. So group number 2, one thing that I can see here in the spirit animal is the fact that you're going to have your path blessed with love, and the probability of your path being blessed with more love from, for instance, a four-legged companion is very high. So all of a sudden, for instance, one of your pets making miraculous recoveries, miraculous changes in their behaviors, you may be helping another animal out, an unexpected addition to the family that, you know, is an animal. That is one thing that I see has a high probability here in the spirit animal, and just overall being connected to your intuition as well as your instinct. Just like animals instinctually know what to do when they're in trouble, when they're not feeling well, when they're going through something, you will have that instinctive feeling that is kind of leaning you towards one side or another. So then we have the miracle of prayer as well as connect with music. Group number 2, I want to talk to you about something here in the miracle of prayer. So as you know, my channel is about spirituality. We are not we are open-minded when it comes to different beliefs, different religions. But I want you to know here in the miracle of prayer that what can really help you is manifesting, is speaking things into existence. And it doesn't matter what you believe in religiously, spiritually, maybe you're a complete atheist. It doesn't matter. What really matters here is just that putting a belief, instilling a certain belief within yourself can actually make it a reality. Like if you continuously tell yourself, I am a good musician, as we're connected to music here in your reading, or for instance, I am a smart business person, I am a successful architect, for instance, whatever it is that you want to become, I want you to know that the more you say it, the more you take action towards it subconsciously. So you can speak things into existence, because the more you lean into these things emotionally, the more you become them. And furthermore, in connect with music, I see here that you will feel very inspired through music. So using music while you're working out, doing certain tasks around your house that otherwise would be dreadful, but you use music to get yourself livened up and to motivate yourself, to put yourself in a better headspace. That is one thing that I see here, group number 2. So music does not only help motivate you, but it is also something that connects you very deeply to your emotions. Okay, there is this one song that is coming up for you next that is really going to remind you of, you know, something that you've overcome, something that you've been strong enough to leave in the past and battle at the time, but then just say to yourself, I've done it, I can move on with my life, and I don't want to be stuck thinking those same toxic thoughts. So it's really going to be a moment of personal pride for you when it comes to music that is coming up soon. So if you feel like there's a song that reminds you of exactly that and you feel like you're already living this, leave the song down below in the comments, or, you know, just leave the part of the lyrics down below that you feel really connected to, that you feel really just says something about you, speaks a story about your life. So we have the 6 of Pentacles. One thing that I see here in the 6 of Pentacles is what's next for you is really like your humanitarian side coming out, your giving side, the side of you that loves to share, that loves to help others out. I see that coming out more and more and being able to reveal itself in the best possible way. Then we have the High Priestess as well as the 2 of Wands. So decisions, group number 2. I see here in the 2 of Wands that there are different choices that you can make. There are different ways, that different paths that you can take. And it can be confusing at times, and it can almost feel like, okay, I have to take action, I have to go now. But but I want you to keep in mind that it's okay to sometimes just rest and take a little bit of time to think about whether you want to take that job opportunity, whether you want to forgive that person, whether you want to really try and reestablish a connection with somebody who has hurt you deeply. You're not obliged to answer to anybody in a certain amount of time, group number 2. And I know it sounds logical, but sometimes we need to be reminded of that, because sometimes we can fall into the trap of almost feeling like we owe people something, even though, you know, they wouldn't do the same for us. And to just be really real and frank with you, group number 2, a lot of time, people who are natural empaths, people who naturally are very beautiful on the inside, as I can see here in the High Priestess with you, you would basically like run a mile for somebody who may not even pee on you if you were on fire, okay? So try and like retract from that. I see that that is like a natural process happening anyways, as you come to realize more and more like, hey, I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be sticking my head out for people who wouldn't even stick out their little pinky finger if I was in trouble. So that is just a natural development that I see coming for you, just kind of standing up for yourself more. Then we have To Be Fair, as well as Milk and Honey. Group number 2, Milk and Honey is always an amazing sign. You're going to hit a sweet spot where you're like, wow, okay, things are going well, things are going better than I expected. So the real challenge here is we have the number 51 in correlation to Milk and Honey. The real challenge in the number 5 is just the fact that you're thinking to yourself, okay, things are going well now. When are things gonna go south again? Because it's too fun. And in the number 1, I want you to know that this is going to be a first for you. This much kind of, this much of a feeling of gratitude, this much of a feeling of being fortunate. So just allow yourself to know that, hey, life is all about abundance. Life is all about living it, being extremely happy every day if possible, and reminding yourself that it's just too short to not live life to the fullest. So quit living life like you have another one in storage somewhere. You just got one. And that is one thing that I see here in To Be Fair, that you're coming out of your shell more and more and just saying to yourself, hey, I only got one life, I might as well just live it, and I need to stop worrying so much about how my fun is going to impact, for instance, my schedule or impact my wallet, because at the end of the day, if I don't enjoy just as much as I worry and plan ahead, life is never going to be happening in the moment. So I see this shift in living more momentarily, living more in the present. And then we have the Tribe, as well as Mending. So is there some sort of hurt within your community, within your home life, with a good friend, maybe a family member, as I can see here in the Tribe, as well as Mending? That's what's next is you fixing those issues, you fixing any kind of emotional pain that is still there. A disagreement between you and someone who hurt you deeply, hurt you to the point where you're thinking to yourself that you actually want to cut them off, even though you know it would be painful. You think to yourself, if this is how it continues, it's not worth it to me, because it's too much. It's too much to deal with. It's too much to go through emotionally. But don't worry, group number 2, the process of mending this is coming. The process of clearing this up and coming into a space where you feel like things are back on neutral ground and where you can talk and understand one another. In the Tribe, we have the number 8 that is connected to this card, and the number 8 is a number of infinite possibilities. So know that, yes, of course, things can continue going south. You can continue to feel hurt and misunderstood, but that is only one of many possibilities. That is only one of many ways in which your relationships could remain. Your relationships could just as well be awesome and amazing, which is one thing that I see you leaning towards here in Mending. What's next is definitely just closing up any gaps in your connections where there is hurt, where there is betrayal, and where there is uncertainty. So then we have the Tower, as well as the Page of Cups. So things are going to be a little crazy for you, group number 2. I can see that in the Tower. I can see that things are kind of falling apart a little bit, things that you knew and that you're going to have to rebuild. And by falling apart, I mean, for instance, old beliefs. If you thought to yourself that you could never not, for instance, eat meat or dairy, and all of a sudden you see a documentary or you read something that really makes you think to yourself, wow, my old belief system is shattered. I need to try this new thing. I see that in the Page of Cups. You're kind of very adventurous when it comes to trying new things. You're emotionally not distant. You're open to those new possibilities. That was obviously just an example with the diet. It could also be something else, challenging your beliefs about, for instance, how religion has affected you, your family, your ancestors, and how you would like to change the effects that it has on you, or maybe completely not have those effects be a part of your life. I can see in the Page of Cups just embarking on a new experience, and the old one just being debunked, the old one just kind of falling apart because you no longer need it. You're good where you are. You're secure in yourself, and you know what you need in order to build more positivity, build more confidence in yourself, and you know what you can just allow to be a thing of the past and move on without, and be just fine without. So group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you about what's coming next. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it was motivational as well as inspirational. Sorry, my doorbell just rang. So wherever you are in this world, group number 2, I hope that you're having an amazing time, an amazing day or night. Thank you for joining me in today's reading, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the black tourmaline, group number 3, which is a highly protective stone. So if you do not own a black tourmaline, make sure that you check out where you can get one from, because it helps protect you against electromagnetic fields. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what is coming next for you. So first and foremost, we have the Earth Angel. So in the Earth Angel, one thing that I see here is that you're going to be inspired to be more connected to the earth, inspired to go out more, inspired to adventure more. That is one thing that I see in the Earth Angel, as well as just taking care of the earth better than you ever have before. So this could be, for instance, purchasing more sustainable clothing, more sustainable items for your home, recycling, just making sure that you're producing less waste, that you're using up everything in your fridge as much as you possibly can without wasting any little bit of food. Also taking shorter showers, eating in a way how it impacts the environment a lot less, having more fruit, more vegetable, instead of things that are processed foods, things that are put together of different animal components, if you will, because animals obviously have a way larger impact on the environment when they need to be farm fed, taken care of, than vegetables. So I want you to know here that you're just having this way more like direct connection to the earth and doing your part when it comes to taking care of the environment and just the surrounding, the immediate surrounding when it comes to the earth around you. So we have open your heart, as well as clear your vibes. So one thing that I see here in the Archangel Metatron and clear your vibes is just the fact that you're clearing your energy field. That is what is next for you, group number 3. You have some old energy that is ready to be recycled, as we have here in the Earth Angel, and you're ready to just kind of give that energy away, kind of put it out into the universe, as I can see here in the Archangel Chamuel, that you just want to open your heart a little bit more. So there are different heart opening exercises as well, and meditations. If you're into yoga, then there are certain poses that open the heart and just make you feel more vulnerable in a good way, because often we're afraid to be vulnerable because we don't want to be hurt. But when you learn to be vulnerable by choice, not because you're forced to be vulnerable, and it's something that you want to do, then you can truly see the strength in it. You can truly see what you're doing for other people by being vulnerable, by just showing them who you are at the core, because that inspires other people to do the same, group number 3. So I definitely see you being an inspiration. I see that what's next for you is just cleansing your vibes, clearing your vibes, using crystals to cleanse, drinking crystal infused water, just spending your days really getting rid of the old and inviting in the new. Then we have chaos and conflict, and that is exactly why you need to do this, group number 3. There is chaos and conflict around you. You're noticing how things are getting more cluttered, not just physically, but also mentally. You notice how, you know, your body is maybe a little bit lethargic, a little less flexible than it used to be, and you're thinking to yourself that you have to do something about it. And that is exactly why we have this cleansing of the energy field, why we have this cleansing of old emotion that no longer serves you, because you're noticing that the only way to get any kind of chaos and conflict under control is to get yourself composed and yourself under control. So then we have to the sea, as well as blessed. So group number 3, first and foremost, the good news, okay? And blessed, one thing that I see for you is just very obviously being in a situation where you feel grateful, where you feel fortunate, and where you feel like, wow, I was really chosen to live this life, and this is awesome. This is something that I just would never replace for anything. And into the sea, I see here that you're kind of embarking on this journey by yourself, on this journey of cleansing out the old energy and inviting in the new. And the reason why you're doing this by yourself is not because you're not supported, but because you want to ensure that anything that you're inviting in is authentically you. Often if we have other people intervening in our life's path, in our life's journey, oh, we have a card that needs to speak for itself, we become more them than we become ourselves, than we are who we're supposed to be. So we have the Queen of Swords that just jumped straight out of your reading, and the Queen of Swords is really a no BS kind of person, is a no BS kind of lady, and she is the kind of queen that will tell you exactly how it is, that will not spare any feelings, and is truthful and very logical, okay? So she's not going to just do things because of how she feels. She's going to do things because that is what's right. That is what resonates with the kind of integrity that she's trying to portray to this world, trying to put out into this world. So I definitely see a bit more of a upfront, matter-of-fact kind of version of yourself coming up next. And then we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Page of Wands, as well as the Empress. So I want you to know here in the Empress that just kind of like putting yourself back to where you feel on, to where you feel attractive. That is one thing that I see. Embracing your natural beauty and not being afraid to be that person who just says, yes, actually, I do feel comfortable in my own skin. Actually, I do feel good about myself. And you might need a little bit of a push from a little helper, from somebody who just reminds you of that. But overall in the Ten of Swords, I just see that, you know, really cleansing out your old feelings that you had for yourself and starting afresh. As I can see here in the Page of Wands, that you have really, really popping new ideas, group number 3. And with popping new ideas, I mean, for instance, ideas on how to create new art, really fresh art, on new business ventures that you can start, and just different things that you haven't done before, but you feel like, hey, this would be a great idea. And I feel like in correlation to the rest of your reading, this may really have to do with ways in which you can make this world a better place, ways in which you can save the earth to a certain degree. Of course, you will need, you know, collective consciousness, collective help to do so, but just being the person who makes the first move towards bettering the space that we all inhabit, where we all coexist. Then we have the Six of Wands, as well as the Eight of Cups. So I have kind of like a moment of duality here for you, group number 3. In the Six of Wands, we have you kind of leading, being very supported in all of your ventures, and at the same time kind of feeling a little bit pissed off, if you will, kind of feeling a little bit like the one person that you wanted to support you, the one person who you actually really wanted to impress, just does not seem to get it. And that is something that annoys you. That is something that makes you feel like walking away, that makes you feel like giving up. But group number 3, I want to be here to encourage you to keep believing and not to do so, okay? And I'm speaking from my own experience, where I felt as though, you know, the one person who should get me the most, the one person who should understand or at least be interested in these new ideas and these epiphanies, who should support me, especially especially in ventures of, for instance, saving the planet, putting less torture into this world by supporting the right causes, that person just didn't get it, or still doesn't get it, or did not want to put the kind of effort in that I expected. They didn't want to quite understand the way that I hoped that they would. So I want you to be aware that this happens to all of us, and sometimes the people who are doing this, they know that their opinion really matters, and they're kind of subconsciously doing it on purpose, or flat out doing it on purpose, and sometimes they don't even realize. But the thing here is that you should not kind of like drink the poison of negative emotion and expect the other person to die, or expect the other person to fall sick, and then all of a sudden realize, hey, like, life doesn't last forever. I need to start making an effort now. Don't wait for that moment, group number 3. Don't hope for that moment. Know that instead of being mad about it or annoyed about it, what you really should do is just be happy for the people who do get it, the community that you do have that understands where you're coming from. Lean into that and continue down your path until the person who you wanted to support you so badly comes around. Because if they matter, if they truly cherish you and love you, they will come around eventually. But sometimes the people closest to you can disappoint you the most, just because they are scared, just because they don't always understand what you're going through, even though you would expect them to. And this has various reasons, but at the end of the day, group number 3, it's important for you to not allow that to affect your decision, and not allow that to put you in a place where you're acting out of character, because then that just makes them say, hey, look, they're acting crazy, so clearly this change is not positive for them. Clearly this change is not furthering them. Clearly this is just bringing them 2 steps back, which is exactly what you don't want. So stay calm, stay collected, stay cool, group number 3. Do your thing, and know that this amazing energy that you're radiating on this new cycle of your journey is something that people will it will just be infectious, if you will, okay? And everybody who matters, everybody who is truly understanding of you and truly loves you is going to come around. And everybody who doesn't matter, or who just does not want to support you, that is a clear indicator for you, group number 3, and just kind of like a truth bomb. But don't be afraid of that. Know to embrace the truths, embrace people's reactions, because people's reactions show you exactly what they stand for and what's important to them. So group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you. If you enjoyed this reading, leave a little gecko emoji down below in the comment section, as the Page of Wands is a little gecko, if you will. So thank you so much for joining me in today's video, group number 3. I hope that you're safe wherever you are in this world, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Howlite, group number 4, which means we are twinning, because I have a Howlite in my bottle, and it is a very calming stone. It is a stone that helps you get kind of like centered and into your meditative flow. So if you're interested in this Howlite bottle, I will link it down below, but of course one of these little guys will do just the right job for you as well. So let's move further into reading to figure out exactly what's next in your life. So we have the miracle of nature. So one thing that I see here is you reconnecting with the world through fresh air. So getting out of the house more. I see that that is what's coming next for you. So life may have been in a very weird situation recently, in a very weird spot, and vibrating on a very unusual and unnatural frequency. But I see you grounding yourself by reconnecting with the nature and just being outside more, breathing actual fresh air, and just taking in that oxygen, filling up your lungs truly, not just breathing in a very shallow way, but filling up your entire kind of chest with air. So deep breathing exercises as well for anxiety, as well as just getting into your body more, maybe through yoga, meditation, other practices that make you feel whole. Then we have Yang, building blocks, as well as come to the edge. So in Yang, we have phallic energy. That is masculine energy. You know how there's yin and yang? Well, Yang is the masculine side. It is the go-getter side. It is the side that is called to take action. We have it here in correspondence to the number 1, and the number 1 is often a number that is connected to those who want to be first in line, who want to get things done in an innovative way, who don't need to wait for others to make the first move and then follow along. So this is not a card, this is not a reading for sheep, okay? This is a reading for leaders, and that is what is next for you, group number 4. As I can see here in Come to the Edge, you're not afraid to stray from the mainland and come to a situation where you're a little on edge, where you're a little unsure of what's coming next. As I can see here in the building blocks, that you're all about just building your future, and you know that it'll take a little bit of risk to build the future that you desire, but you're willing to take that risk. As I can see here in Yang, you're fearless. Phallic energy is energy that can sometimes be a little overly confident, but nonetheless, you know, confident in a way how you do things that others might be too afraid to do or too shy to do, but not you, group number 4. Your energy is pumped up. Your energy that's coming up immediately, that's coming up next, is energy that is unafraid and knows how grateful that they should be. So you know the opportunities you have in your life, you know the different ways in which you can improve your life, and you're doing it. You're no longer procrastinating because you don't want to be a victim of complacency. You don't want to lead a life that is mediocre, and you're finally doing something about it, which is awesome, group number 4. And then we have the 2 of Pentacles, as well as the 7 of Pentacles. So we have 2 cards that are connected to the Suit of Pentacles, and the Suit of Pentacles is connected to all things that are earthly, all things that are finite, okay? So time is finite. That is also something that is connected to the Pentacles. A lot of people feel like Pentacles is just your career, is just money, finances, but it is also time. And I can see here in the 2 of Pentacles that time is something that is of the essence for you. You're kind of juggling how you want to spend your time. You're not sure if maybe you should be working more, working less. It is something that stresses you out, as you don't want to let your friends, your family members down. You want to make sure that you're there for them as much as you can be, but at the same time you want to find that perfect balance between also working enough, also making sure you're hitting those goals and hitting those targets that you need to in order to be proud of yourself when it comes to your career. In the 7 of Pentacles here, one thing that I see is that, you know, you're working very fiercely and very diligently on your dreams. So journaling and keeping track of your progress is something that I see coming up next. Holding yourself accountable overall. So this may be a new experience to you, or an experience that you just had to kind of like get back from the dusty corner that you threw it into when you told yourself that you're just gonna go with the flow. And now is again a time to write lists, to do, you know, little Pomodoro study sessions, Pomodoro work sessions, where you work for 25 minutes, you take a break for 5 minutes, you work for 25, like really just sit down, make lists of things that need to be done, actually get them done, and not just say to yourself that you'll go with the flow. So just having that visual way of keeping yourself accountable, that is one thing that I see coming next. Then we have the High Priestess, as well as the 2 of Wands. So group number 4, in the 2 of Wands, one thing that I see is you kind of looking ahead as to where your different ideas and creativity may take you. So while you're looking ahead, I don't want you to miss the present moment, because there are decisions that you can make now to impact the future. But if you're looking into the future, you're going to sleep on the decisions right now, if you know what I mean, group number 4. So don't let that happen. I want you to know here in the 2 of Wands that just because you're working on one thing right now, or just because you feel as though, okay, I kind of know what path I'm going down, doesn't mean that no readjustments are required, and it doesn't mean that you can't work on something else as well. It doesn't mean you can't bring more things on board. So allow yourself to be open enough to consider bringing more ideas on board. As I can see here in the High Priestess, that your confidence is really increasing. Your confidence is going to a place where you're that very like calm, confident person. As we spoke about in the Howlite, you don't really need to be hyped up. You don't need anybody to give you reassurance. You're just calm in who you are, confident in who you are, and you don't really feel as though anybody can shake that, which is a beautiful way to be, a beautiful kind of feeling to have, group number 4. So continue to embrace that and not to feel like it's weird or like it's stuck up or like you're being conceited. No, 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 group number 4. Being confident enough to not care about what others think and to not let others' opinions or words affect how you view yourself. That is a beautiful place of happiness to be in. And then we have the leap of faith, as well as the Archangel Jeremiel. So one thing that I see here in the Archangel Jeremiel is the fact that you're going to be experiencing the miracle of forgiveness. And I see this in correlation to taking the leap of faith. So forgiving somebody that you don't really want to forgive, somebody who may have like abused you as you were younger, or somebody who just hurt you really badly, even though you let them in and showed them that vulnerable side of yourself, and they just really disappointed you in a way how you never expected it, group number 4. I want you to know that taking the leap, as we have here, and just using the power of forgiveness to tell them, I forgive you, I'm not holding on to resentment, and I don't have any ill will towards you. That is really a miraculous change that is happening internally for you. 100% letting go, 100% just forgiving, and knowing that this does not need to define you. Knowing that forgiveness is not telling the person that it's okay, or letting them know that you feel as though their actions were justified, or you feel as though they weren't in the wrong. Forgiveness is more you giving yourself that medicine of forgiveness and knowing that you can move on in peace, knowing that you don't harbor any toxic emotions within you that are hurting you because of somebody else's actions. So that is one thing that I see here coming up next for you. Then we have shine your light, as well as open your heart. So what is coming after that is beautiful and miraculous, group number 4. In shine your light, I see you just glowing up a lot more, you know, even maybe going through another glow up, just opening up your heart, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because you know that people can't hurt you. You know that being vulnerable, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, actually means you're really strong. If you open up and you're vulnerable by showing who you truly are, always expressing your true feelings, and people make fun of you for it or ridicule you for it, you don't take it to heart, because you know what you did is strong and may have made them feel uncomfortable, and that's why they ended up doing that. And when people feel threatened, that is their reaction. That is often how people react, and that just lets you continue to allow yourself to be vulnerable, because while vulnerable indicates that, you know, you're being weak or easy to hurt, when you choose to be vulnerable, you choose to be strong. You choose to know that yes, somebody could hurt me, but I'm not going to allow it to hit me like that. I'm not going to allow that to affect me emotionally. My vulnerability means that I am choosing to put myself out there. I am choosing to put myself in a vulnerable position to demonstrate that I'm strong, and that no matter what anybody says, I said what I said. I let them know how I felt. I'm going to keep shining my light and not allow their decision to say something nasty or their feelings to affect me and my realms, because I'm in control of my vulnerability and myself. So this is really amazing, group number 4. I hope that you enjoyed your reading, and I would just like to thank you so much for being a part of today's video. And if you're new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe wherever you are in this world, group number 4. I hope that you're doing amazing. I hope that you're staying safe, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos.